Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to a brand new Division video. What are you guys today are the top 5 best PvE weapon talents in patch 1.6. Now if you guys are getting into PvE, I know some of you guys are mainly PvP players and you normally don't play PvE, or if you are just coming back to the game and you're not really sure what to use, this video is going to help you guys out on what to pretty much roll on your weapons. Even if you have 2 out of the 3 talents that I'm about to mention on your weapon, it's still a really useful thing to use in PvE. So if you guys do enjoy this video or find it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and let's get right into this. So as I said, this video is mainly for players that really don't play PvE that much. I know there's some people out there that only play the Dark Zone or play Last Stand. Also, if you are just getting the game right now, you can kind of relate to this video and pretty much get a general idea of what you should use on your PvE weapons. So the first weapon talent I want to talk about is Ferocious. Now Ferocious is one of the more common weapon talents you will see a lot of players use in PvE. A lot of players like using this talent on their submachine guns or assault rifles since you are going to get the most out of it. Now even if you're not doing challenging missions, if you're not really doing missions that have elites in that mission, even if you're doing something like a hard mission and it's just purples, I would still recommend using Ferocious because at the end of the mission it's always going to be a boss, which Ferocious will help you kill it a little bit quicker, so it's really nice to have in general. So the first one is Ferocious. The next talent I have for you guys is really underrated in my opinion. A lot of people don't really like rolling it on their guns, but what it is Sustained. Now what Sustained is going to do is killing a target increases your health by 6%. So anytime you pretty much kill an NPC, and this is really useful if you are a solo PvE player, if you're just doing, the daily challenging and the daily hard missions, having Sustained on your weapon as well with like Nomad and just health and kill on your gear will help you a lot. Now don't get me wrong, you can still use Sustained in PvP, but you're not really going to get the most out of it. But for PvE, I would recommend running Sustained, especially like I said, if you are a solo player, Sustained can really save your life. Coming up next, we have Deadly. Now Deadly is a really common talent that pretty much everyone uses in PvP or PvE. Pretty much what it does is critical hit damage is increased by 15%. So anytime you already have stacked, critical hit damage, and anytime you pretty much get critical hit damage, with Deadly, it's going to increase that by 15%, and like I said, most players like using this with submachine guns or assault rifles. Although it's semi-good with marksman rifles, I wouldn't recommend using it on them. But also with something like a shotgun, if you have Deadly, Responsive, and Ferocious, or even Destructive, since with those talents, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. So as I said, Deadly, you can pretty much use it for PvP or PvE. Next up we have my favorite weapon talent in the game, and that is Competent. Now what Competent does is weapon damage is increased by 10% for 15 seconds after using a skill. So anytime you use a skill, for example if it's your pulse, if it's your first aid, if it's your seeker mines, whatever you like using, Competent will pretty much increase your damage by 10% for 15 seconds. So once again, this is really useful for PvP or PvE. And especially in PvE, since you're always using your skills, Competent is just a really nice talent to have in your free slot. Now keep in mind, you want to have this talent in your free slot if you don't have around 3800 electronics, because it is not going to get unlocked. So once again, you want to try getting Competent in your free talent so you can use it and not worry about the requirements. Last but definitely not least, we have Predatory. Now Predatory, what it does is killing a target regenerates 35% of your health over 20 seconds. So Predatory is pretty much like a nimble holster in a way. Whenever you kill a person or kill, an NPC, it regenerates your health for 35% in 20 seconds. So it's really nice to have, especially in PvE. Like I said, you can get away with using it in PvP, but it's not going to be, your number one choice for a weapon talent. In PvE, since you're always killing targets, Predatory is a really nice thing to have. The only thing you have to worry about with this talent whenever you want to use it is having 2874 electronics, 4790 stamina, and 2874 firearms. So this talent kind of requires your electronics to be a little bit up there, although it's nothing like Competent. It still requires your electronics to be a little bit there. So even if you're using something like a damage build or a tank build, you could still use this talent if you have above 2800 electronics. In my opinion, if you pair this weapon talent with a nimble holster, Sustained, and even 2-piece Nomad, and a lot of health and kill on your gear, you're going to be getting so much health back. It's going to be so much easier to survive in PvE for anyone that has trouble surviving. If it's incursions, if it's legendary missions, anything like that, that little combination is going to help you guys out a lot. But that pretty much concludes the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now, although I didn't mention anything like destructive or responsive in this video, you could still use it in PvE. It's really nice. But in my opinion, these 5 weapon talents kind of are a little bit higher than like responsive, or a little bit higher than like, you know, brutal or destructive. But that's just my opinion. If you guys get something like, you know, destructive, responsive, and sustained, you don't have to worry about, you know, rerolling of destructive or rerolling of responsive, since those weapon talents are good as well. But in my opinion, these 5 are just a little bit higher on that scale. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.